Hey guys, it's Trina. This is another recent reads video, so I'm just talking about the next few books that I've read this year. I'm not doing my wrap-ups month by month anymore, and I've already got a few of these up if you want to catch up on what I have been reading lately. So the next book that I want to talk about is one that I actually did not finish, and I still want to talk about why I didn't finish it, even though I didn't technically read it. It's not going to count towards like my reading challenge and everything. But that book was This Cruel Design by Emily Suvada. This is the second book in a series. The first book was called This Mortal Coil. These are YA post-apocalyptic science fiction books, and there has been an outbreak of a disease. If you catch it, you will slowly get sick and die. When you die, you combust, like you explode, and then it's in the air, and anyone that's within a certain radius then catches it themselves. The main character that we follow in the first book, she was just like surviving in the woods, and her father was actually a really important scientist, really important researcher about this disease. There are different vaccines and stuff, but like they're locked away in code, and a big element of this story is all about hacking, but gene hacking. So this is like an advanced, like in our future, where people can modify your own genetic code, and you know that means they could make their hair a different color, or they can have different facial features or different bodily functions. And part of this is like health mods, so like if you're sick or something, you literally just like get plugged in and they can run some kind of code to heal you really quickly. So this has a lot to do with the gene hacking. There's a bit of a medical side to it with trying to find the vaccine, and there's also that post-apocalyptic vibe because like if it keeps spreading, the whole world's going to be wiped out. And I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it blended those things pretty well. And then the second book, I don't know, like I went into this one expecting to like it, and it just like got away from the stuff I liked about the first book, I think, and then it started to just like ramble on and on and on about the same thing. Like the plot was focusing on this one goal, and I got 65% of the way into the book, so I got a good chunk, over halfway into the book, and that's when I quit, because like I just didn't think that they were really pursuing things quickly, and it was getting weird. Like I don't know how to explain it because it wasn't bad. It didn't do anything other series haven't done. You know, sometimes second books are a little bit slower. Slowness is not always a bad thing, but like I just never was looking forward to picking this book up. It made my brain hurt thinking about all of the like genetic hacking and stuff. You know, it was written understandably, but I think I just wasn't enjoying it, and I was listening to the audiobook, so this just ended up becoming background noise because I was zoning out so much because it wasn't holding my attention. I can pay attention to audiobooks really well, even when I'm multitasking. Like I can take in details and remember them and everything like that. So the format's not the issue. I think some people say, well, oh, when you listen to audiobooks you're not taking it in as much, but I do because I listen to so many. But this one I wasn't. I was still zoning out, and that's just an indicator of a story has lost my interest. Same thing happens when I read print books sometimes. If it's not holding my interest, I will zone out. The way that I realized I was just not taking any of this in is that literally I realized I missed a scene where the character had cut off her own arm. Like, they just start talking about it. She's like, yeah, I cut off my arm a few scenes ago. And I was like, wait, what? I don't remember that. And that should probably be something that you remember because it's kind of a big deal, right? And I didn't even catch that. It just like went in one ear and out the other. So I decided I wasn't grasping this, I wasn't enjoying it, I never looked forward to continuing it, so I just thought it was best to quit. So the next book that I read, I actually finished it. It was Someday, Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham. This has been out for several years. This is an adult contemporary novel. Well, it's set in the 90s. I don't know if that's considered contemporary anymore. And it is about a young woman who has gone to New York to pursue acting, but so far she's just gotten waitress jobs and she's taking an acting class. She's just kind of waiting to make it because that's really what she wants to do in her life. This really details the day-to-day process of the character trying to get auditions and like going on auditions and reading lines, and then what it's like for her whenever she does get cast, and her feelings about whether or not she's gonna make it and whether she should, you know, call it quits and have a fallback career. It's not something that I enjoy reading about, honestly. Like the world of acting just does not interest me personally. Plus, I didn't think that this story really brought anything new to it. This is literally an actress slash waitress that we've seen a million times. And I had a lot of trouble separating the character from Lauren Graham herself. It just felt like I was reading like an autobiography or something. And I know that she's written a few autobiographies and people seem to really love those. I would have rather just read the autobiography of Lauren Graham's first breaking into acting or whatever. I don't know if her life was like this at all, but the character just had such a strong voice, very similar to her, very similar to Lorelai Gilmore, if you guys love the Gilmore Girls. Sometimes this character Franny would go off on little rambles, and it sometimes sounded like what Lorelai would go into on the show. And aside from the character using payphones sometimes and the fact that she did carry around a paper file of facts, but paper planners have come back into style now, so it's not really like a big difference, just like the name change. And the couple of references to the show Friends that were in here, like those are the only really 90s things about it, so it didn't work for me for like the pop culture retro vibes either. So overall it just wasn't a book that I really liked, but I also didn't hate it. I will talk about the audiobook for this one because it is also narrated by Lauren Graham herself, which is cool. If you love celebrity narrators, I think that that's going to be a strong appeal to it. I did enjoy getting to hear her read her own story, but at the same time, for a professional, seasoned, well-loved actress, it didn't come across to me like she was a professional actress, like with her voice acting, especially with the different characters' voices. When Franny would talk to her roommate Jane, I never knew who was saying which line, and I would get so lost in the conversations because I couldn't tell who was who. She didn't differentiate. Not really my fave. The next book that I read and want to talk about is In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. This is the fourth book in her Wayward children's series. This is one of my favorite series. It's also one of my favorite series on audiobook. The audiobooks are fantastic. They are so whimsical. They really do well for like a spoken word storytelling format. It makes me feel like I'm a small child being read to by a parent, which is just such a comforting and warm and magical feeling, and these books, like the stories just really lend themselves to that. This series is about characters from our world who have found doorways into other more like magical worlds, and they spend some time there and then they're eventually kicked back out into the real world, and they spend basically like the rest of their lives wanting to go back. So it's like a Fae realm portal fantasy. This one is following Lundy, who was a teacher at the boarding school from book one, and I never cared about Lundy at all in the times that we've seen her previously. So when I heard that this was who this book was following, I was kind of disappointed, to be honest. But then when we got into it, I like care about Lundy now because this book just developed her, gave her a really good background, and I think that's also probably due to the fact that these books are so short. You're not going to get a good impression of anyone that's not the main character, you know, in the other books until a book actually really delves into their past. So this one did really make me enjoy her and really understand like her as a character. I liked her world a lot more than I thought I would. Her world was a goblin market. That wasn't something that sounded appealing to me at first either, but now that I've read about it, I'm like, I understand this. This is kind of cool. There's this big emphasis in the book on fair value. Like if you get something, you need to ask if what you're giving in return for it is fair value. Like, and fair value differs from person to person, but ever since then I've been like, well, was this fair value like in day-to-day life? So I mean, I guess it left an impact on me. Rachel Marie asked me which one is my least favorite of the series, and I don't know that I have a least favorite. That is such a hard question. I don't think I have a least favorite because overall I can't separate them. They're all so fantastic and I just get so much enjoyment out of them, and this one was no exception. Like, even though it wasn't dealing with my favorite character or favorite world, I ended up really enjoying it once I was reading it. I just have so much respect for the series and for the writing and for these characters and the things that these books tackle. That is going to wrap it up for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to know what you have recently been reading, if you have DNF'd anything or what you've really been enjoying. Just let me know that down below. If you have any other thoughts on these books that you want to share with me, please feel free to. And if you have any questions that I didn't cover about any of these books, let me know that too. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the comments.